commodity over here, and France is again spending less on that. So that was the first thing, and that was the second thing. And then thirdly, the expenditure on cameras was more than double. Yeah, you see, UK has spent around 350,000 pounds, and yeah, then France has spent 150. But as I said yesterday, there's no exact information that it exceeds a little bit. It's more than 350,000, right? It exceeds a little bit, but there is no information given in here. So yeah, your task achievement just revolves around this. It cannot be 450,000 plus 100 pound, because if it's not written anywhere in here, then you don't write it anywhere in here. So that's your task. Okay. So I used a little bit logic, and we wrote more than double that of 150,000, about 350, but it's not exactly 350, so it's nearby. So that's a useful lexical resource in a situation like this. Okay, about, not exactly. And if you don't use about, then again you're giving a pretext that it's around 350,000 pounds. So again, that's wrong. It's more than 350,000. Okay. In the second paragraph, I told you guys yesterday that we used the information which remains after using the three most significant points, right? In the other two, only France has been spending money. Okay, so again, we are talking about, in contrast, the money paid out remaining for the remaining goods was higher among French. We again explained these two, that the French spent more on computers compared to the UK, and the French spent more on perfume compared to the UK. Okay, I think there's some questions in. Okay, so in comment section, I thought anybody's asking question. Okay, so if you have a question, just turn on your mic. Don't post it in comment for now. Okay. So that's like a quick overview of what I explained in detail yesterday. I hope it is clear for everyone, right? If it's not, speak up. अगर समझ नहीं आया हो तो you can switch on the mic and I'll take you through the point. Okay, nothing. So yes, yesterday हम पहुंचे थे. Yes, Rajinder, go ahead. I think you have a question. Rajinder. In one BP, I didn't understand that. So you're saying that if we write the whole thing together, right? You can turn on your mic if it's. No, actually, you cannot write the whole thing in just a single go. This writing task tests your ability. मतलब जो तुम्हारी ability रहेगी to explain every position and every part of whatever the task is given to you. अगर बार ग्राफ है तो उसको भी तुम अलग अलग लेवल पे एक्सप्लेन कर सको, या फिर टास्क लेट्स से टास्क 2 है तो उसको भी तुम्हें अलग अलग लेवल पे एक्सप्लेन करना है. और हाउ आर यू एबल टू डिफरेंशिएट वन इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम अनदर. मतलब किस तरह से तुम एक इंफॉर्मेशन को अलग अलग तरह से रिप्रेजेंट कर सकती हो या कर सकते हो. So that's your task. Okay. So if you try and write everything in just one paragraph, you will get 0 marks for task achievement or cohesion. क्योंकि सब कुछ एक साथ लिख देने से it will not approve how you are able to connect your points differently. Okay, is that clear? Yep, no worries. Anybody else? So yes, that solves it. And yesterday I was on a conclusion or overview, right? There are two things. If you are writing an overview, it comes after the introduction and not in the end or not in the middle of anything. Overview introduction के बाद ही आएगा, क्योंकि overview का मतलब क्या है कि you are giving a simple idea about what's going to happen. Okay, तुम क्या expect कर सकते हो इस bar graph के explanation में, that is overview. And what is conclusion? You are telling that after you have explained everything, मतलब जो कुछ भी तुमने समझा दिया है उसके बाद you are giving a idea कि इस सब information से we can take some hints, और overview हो या फिर conclusion हो. It should be formatted in such a manner, it should be written in such a manner and such information should be recorded in it कि भाई पढ़ने वाले को एक ही बार में समझ आ जाए a tiny idea of what the reader is going to expect from the task one. Okay, so if you read it over here, let me zoom out a little bit so you could uh, cross match the information. Okay, Uh, everyone is able to see this or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's say agglomerating. So this is one of the cohesive devices which you can use in your conclusion and not in your overview. Why? Because the agglomerating means the everything mentioned above, and collecting all the data and keeping that in mind. Uh, that is the definition of agglomerating. So I use this as a cohesive devices to connect all of this which has been written above. इस ये एक शब्द की वजह से ये सब कुछ इसमें connect हो गया. And there are different vocabs for connecting, agglomerating, then there will be recapitulating and a few more, but मैं हर एक अलग अलग ऐसे में अलग अलग चीजें for conclusion or overview. I don't think overview will be useful, but conclusion मैं डालता रहूंगा, and do note it down every time. Okay, so yeah, in conclusion, what I'm explaining and what I'm trying to say here is a tiny idea of the whole bar graph. The UK has spent more money on consumer goods than France in the given period. So a tiny idea पढ़ के हमको overview मिल गया. We are able to understand after reading all of this information that on most of the major points यहाँ पे 5 रीडिंग्स दिए हैं, कार, कंप्यूटर, बुक, परफ्यूम और कैमरास के. सो most of the time UK has spent the overall money. So that's the significant point, right? ये एक ऐसा point है which is worth the mention. So यहाँ पे conclusion में मैंने वो point लिख दिया. So that will give you the idea when you look at the bar graph and the reader looks at the graph, he will observe that the UK is orange bar and the France is blue bar. और after reading this one sentence, उसकी नजर सबसे पहले यूके का ग्राफ ऊपर जा रहा है, उस पे जाएगी, right? So it's going up and up in 3 incidents. Okay, and again after these 3 incidents, again it's not going dramatically down, right? कहीं पे भी इतना कम नहीं हो रहा है कि we can say that UK has spent a good amount of money, but they have spent the most amount and more amount of money when you compare it with French people in the given period. Okay, so that's one kind of information which you look for and paraphrase it and put it in your conclusion or your overview. But I do not suggest you write overview because that would be a bold move right now. Without a lot of practice, I do not suggest you write an overview. But if you write an overview, there is no place for a conclusion. Always keep that in mind. That was the first point. Yeah, UK has spent the most amount of money. And what will be the second point? Both British and French spent exotic sum of money on cars, whereas the least amount of money was spent on perfume in UK compared to the cameras in France. Huh? So again, सबसे ज़्यादा कोई भी पढ़ रहा है अगर if the reader reads the second sentence, उसे क्या पता चलेगा कि सबसे ज़्यादा पैसे फ्रांस और यूके में कार्स पे खर्च हुए हैं और सबसे कम पैसे यूके में परफ्यूम में और फ्रांस ने कैमरास पे खर्च किए हैं. So after reading the second line, what the reader will go through quickly without looking at these digits, वो देखेगा कार्स तो यस हाँ सबसे ज्यादा पैसे फ्रांस और यूके ने कार्स पे खर्च किए हैं विदाउट लुकिंग एट दीज डिजिट्स, देन द पर्सन विल लुक फॉर परफ्यूम एंड यूके, क्योंकि सबसे कम पैसे, एक ही इंसिडेंट ऐसा है कि जहाँ पे यूके ने सबसे कम पैसे खर्च किए हैं, दैट इज परफ्यूम मेंशन्ड ओवर हियर. सो द पर्सन वुड लुक, the reader will look at perfume and he'll get a idea, right? And then again we have mentioned UK compared to cameras in France. So again, the reader will look for cameras and will look for a blue bar, which is France. So again, France ने सबसे कम खर्च cameras पे किया है. So this will again give him a vague idea without reading or going through the exact you see scaling. उसको पता चल गया कि भाई if you're looking for the lowest expenditure of France, you look for camera. If you're looking at the lowest expenditure of UK, you're looking at perfume. So that's the task, okay? To give that's the task of this the task of conclusion, right? So to give information in such a manner without using digits कि reader को समझ आ जाए that what he or she will be looking for. And the last point which I added over here is, furthermore, the most significant difference in the expenditure between two countries was on camera. So again, that is a significant point, a point which catches the reader's eye. So हर जगह पे, if you look at the bar graph, there is not a lot of difference. There is a difference of 100,000 or less, like $50,000, 100,000, $200,000. But यहाँ पे the difference is dramatic. You see, सबसे ज्यादा which is more than double खर्च, खर्च की लेन देन जो फ्रांस में इतने कम है 150, वहां पे कैमराज 350 से भी ज्यादा खर्च हुए. सो दैट्स मोर देन डबल ऑफ 150 इज 300,000. स्टिल उससे भी ज्यादा खर्चा यूके ने किया है. सो दैट्स वन इंफॉर्मेशन व्हिच इज वर्थ मेंशनिंग इन कंक्लूजन. ओके, कंक्लूजन हो या ओवरव्यू, यू हैव टू मेंशन सच इंफॉर्मेशन जिससे पढ़ने वाले का ध्यान उधर पे ही केंद्रित हो, एंड ही विल गेट द आइडिया, ही और शी विल गेट द आइडिया कि भाई व्हाट शुड बी एक्सपेक्ट while reading the detailed paragraph with digits in it. Okay, so that's what your conclusion or overview should stand for. एक छोटी सी summary you could say that, which will give you the idea, like our conclusion gives the idea कि भाई UK spent the most amount of money from both countries was spent on cars. सबसे ज्यादा difference कैमराज में था फ्रांस और UK के बीच में, और सबसे कम खर्च UK ने परफ्यूम में किया था. Okay, that's clear. Anybody has any question with this, or else I'll move to the next task 2. If anybody has any question, turn on the mic or just comment it real quick. No questions, right? So I'll so for everyone who was not present yesterday, there is just a tiny exercise. I'll give you 5 minutes to do this, and everyone who participated yesterday can participate again. But this is the exercise. Like, this is the bar graph. I'll explain what you are supposed to do, and when I tell you the timer starts, you just comment all the points which I asked you to. So okay, if you paid attention and saw that I mentioned all the significant points, जो भी ज्यादा dramatic up down है यहाँ पे वो सब हमने इधर पे और इधर पे लिखा to give you an idea. So to do this, to fill up all the information in between these digits, जो कुछ भी मैं लिख रहा हूँ वो fill up करने के लिए I have to identify that what's the most significant thing in this bar graph, right? So your task right now is to identify that what's the most significant difference, low, up, down, the lowest number of people, and between these 2 years. I'll explain you the question, and जो भी तुम्हें इसमें significant दिख रहा है digits के, जो भी difference दिख रहा है कि क्या कम हुआ, क्या ज्यादा हुआ, कितने लोग कम हुए, कितने लोग कब ज्यादा थे, और कितनी वेबसाइट्स यूज हुई थी. Okay, everybody understand what the task is? If you understood, then I'll explain the question and then I'll give you 5 minutes to attempt the question. Okay. Both here show. Oh no, Rajendra, just wait for a second. Okay. I'll explain the question for whosoever was not here yesterday. and then we'll begin. Okay, but you did good. Yes, all the years your information is correct. So the bar chart above provides information about number of people using multiple social networking sites in Canada. Summarize the information by reporting the main features and comparison where relevant. So हमको क्या करना है कि there are the number of websites which is given down below, and there is then number of people which is given on the left side. Okay, so this is the scaling. So आपको you have to give out main points जो कि यहाँ पे मैंने दिए थे कि भाई UK spend more on this and France has done on this. So यहाँ पे जो इस हिसाब से इस बार ग्राफ के हिसाब से जो भी पॉइंट है वो आपको आइडेंटिफाई करके सिर्फ पॉइंट्स नॉट द होल ऐसे आपको आइडेंटिफाई करके कमेंट सेक्शन में यू हैव टू गिव इट. सो दैट्स द थिंग. लाइक यहाँ पे नंबर ऑफ वेबसाइट दिए है, यहाँ पे नंबर ऑफ पीपल 2014 का बार है दैट इज इन ग्रीन एंड 2015 का बार है दैट इज इन ब्लू. आई होप दैट इज क्लियर. एंड let's say it's 7:29. I'll give you time till 7:34. Okay, and I think the remaining meeting time, the timer has also begun. So if the meeting stops, you have to just rejoin on the same link. Okay, yep. So before the meeting ends, everybody just get this done real quick. No pressure. Okay, सबको समझ आ गया?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, really, even if you find one significant point and or a contrast point जो कि एक दूसरे से match नहीं करता, you still can mention it in the comment section, right? So that will give me the idea. Did you understand how to attempt a bar graph in task 1 or not? Yes. Yes, Rajinder, yes. All the years show upward graph. And some years show downwards. Anybody else except Rajinder? She already participated yesterday, I think. She knows how to do it. And she's doing it good, right? You just have to come up with digits, right? Like if you think that there are a lot of people who were using one site in 2014 and then dramatically they fell down to 28 in 2015.
She's typing. I have an announcement for everybody. That is, you can take this screenshot of this bar chart and you can write your task. Click the picture. I'll upload as a sort of an assignment on the Google Classroom. You can submit it over there so that Roshiraj can check it for you. The complete task. The other thing is that we won't be having class on this Saturday and Sunday, though we'll be having classes from the upcoming Saturdays. So we'll be meeting on Monday now, 7 p.m. same time, and I'll be sending the link. So in case for Saturday and for Sunday, you have, okay, Himanshi is here.
No, actually, there's not about age, and that's what I'm saying, Himanshi. That we are not. I'm not completely sure about. Is it completely based on the number of percent given on left, or is it the number of people? Okay, because in the question it says number of people, and if it's percent, then I think yeah, I'll have to check it once again, but I'll be uploading this one.
I feel that there is the discrepancy in the question, because in the statement it's mentioned number of people, but according to the bar chart it's percentage, and I have never seen such error. It's always mentioned in the statement as well that the percentage of
The,
people. So I think there is some discrepancy in the question itself.
yeah. But if you try to explain your answer, it should be like this. You do not, you, even if you find it, you cannot mention information which is already not inside this bar chart. If you go outside this, you are not achieving the task and you are incoherent. But yeah, we can have a good vote on what's, if it's the number of percent or number of the people. I hope that is clear, right, Imanji?
Yeah, to some extent, sir. But right now, you please just get a check on it that basically what should be the appropriate answer to this
Yeah,
description.
because like I'll have to write one and see, because these are just question, or I'll try to find if there is an answer to this by some expert
Rest,
from
what
Cambridge.
on my behalf I will I will solve this the task like you mentioned in the previous example, and you can just have a check
Okay.
on it that what would be the suitable answer to this task.
Yes, surely.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
very
you, sir.
much if I'm
I
able
would
to
like
solve
to
it.
add one suggestion. So, in such cases, Himanshi, if there is a confusion and we are not able to decide it whether we should go with the percentage of a people, I would suggest that the whole task should be in one unit. That means if you're writing in percentage, then please make the whole task in percentage only. Don't switch between number of people and percentage. The unit, the calibration should remain the same in such case. सो अगर परसेंटेज है तो पूरा परसेंटेज में चलाओ, अगर नंबर ऑफ पीपल लिखना है तो फिर नंबर ऑफ पीपल ही पूरा लिखो, ऐसा. दिस इज व्हाट आई फील, ताकि सही रहे, बिकॉज ऐसे हम यूनिट्स तो बीच में चेंज नहीं कर सकते, बट आई कंप्लीटली फील ये स्टेटमेंट में ही कुछ डिस्क्रिपेंसी है. एनी हाउ विल चेक इट आउट.
So yes, we'll quickly move to task 2, and I'll tell you a few things about it. Like if you were able to understand what happened in task 1, you will have to just fill the gaps while doing your task 2. First, most important thing about task 2 is, if you are sitting in a real IELTS exam, if you appear for a real IELTS exam, when your writing sheets are presented to you, I would suggest that you attempt the task 2 first. Why? Because it stands for 66% of your whole weightage, right? So let me tell you what would happen. Like if you write a task 1 essay, which is 9 out of 9 bands, okay, which has 0 errors, and if it's 9 out of 9 bands and you completely leave your task 2, your overall result for writing task would be 4.5. Okay, I don't know what's the whole math behind it, but yeah, that's what your overall score will be. And if you write a task 2 essay, which is 9 out of 9 band, completely perfect, picture perfect essay, as if William Shakespeare wrote it, then you will get 6.5 bands. And you just leave the task 1 completely undone, and you write a 9 band essay, you will still get a 6.5. So we cannot write a 9 band essay. I think nobody usually gets a 9 band in essay. And even for the Cambridge universities, it is a surprise that if someone comes up with a 9 band essay, even they are surprised that, okay, it happens like once or twice in a year. That's their census data. Like nobody is able to write a 9 band task 2 essay that easily. So yeah, after that information, so if you get the real exam, try to attempt your essay task 2 first, because your mind will be exhausted after this. Okay, and it will need more energy. So task 2 will consist of 250 words, which is 100 more words than task 1. Okay, so again, the same rule would apply. You can write more than 250 words, around 280 to 90, but you cannot write 240 words. That will be non-task achievement, and your 25% would suffer. So that's the first and most common rule. like 250 से ज़्यादा हो तो चलेगा, but it cannot be less, and you cannot write 303, 310, 320 words, मतलब बहुत लंबा ऐसे लिख के आ गए, so that would also create a problem. Okay, so this is the question. Okay, and we'll read it, and I'll tell you what you do if you are asked agree or disagree question. In the task 2, the thing is there is no particular format that I can teach you about what to fill in between. What I can teach you is how to attempt it. Okay, the content which you will fill in it has to come from your own thought trains, and that's how these task 2 essay will get you marks. Okay, so the question is, growing number of overweight people is putting a strain on the healthcare system. In an effort to deal with the health issues involved, some people think that the best way to deal with this problem is to introduce more physical educational lessons in the school curriculum, right? So the question is कि भाई number of people are growing weight, so उसकी वजह से हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम में और पब्लिक हेल्थ में दिस इज अ पब्लिक हेल्थ इश्यू, मतलब एवरीवन इज अफेक्टेड बाय इट. सो दैट्स वन पॉइंट. इफ यू आर राइटिंग योर essay, do mention about public health as I've done over here. You see, public health, everyone is affected by this, so that's one idea. Your train of thought takes you there. पब्लिक हेल्थ के बारे में लिखना है. Okay, so that's the question कि भाई नंबर ऑफ पीपल आर ग्रोइंग ओवरवेट और उसकी वजह से हमें जो प्रॉब्लम हो रही है उसको टैकल करने के लिए स्कूल में अगर लेसन्स पढ़ाए जाए तो कैसा रहेगा. सो व्हाट एक्सटेंट डू यू अग्री टू दिस आइडिया. सो दैट्स द आइडिया. एंड व्हाट एक्सटेंट डू यू अग्री. यू कंप्लीटली अग्री कि भाई ये बहुत अच्छी बात है, वी शुड डू दिस. यू कंप्लीटली डिसएग्री कि भाई हमें ये नहीं करना चाहिए. और डू यू partially agree or disagree. I would not recommend most of time that you do partially agree or partially disagree, because then you will have to prove those points about your statement. But how do you begin it? So first step to your task 2 will be paraphrasing your question. Okay, paraphrasing your question in a manner that you present your idea. Okay, and then you give your opinion. You give your statement about whatever was asked. If it's agree disagree, then that. If it's advantage disadvantage, then that. That's how you will notify the reader that what the essay is going to be about. Okay, I think there's someone in the comment. Okay, so the first thing will be introduction. Okay, so you paraphrase the whole thing. Over here I have said, as I explained, the way growing weight is doing this and that with people. So अगर मुझे अपने शब्दों में paraphrase करके लिखना है, so how did I do that? Owing to the problems which is growing population of overweight people, you see, the number of people are growing. So मैंने क्या लिख दिया कि growing population. So that's a quick lexical resource, a co-location you can say. Co-location मैंने यूज किया growing population and I converted that into growing number of people. Population की जगह number की जगह I used population. Okay, then yes, the growing population of overweight people cause for the healthcare system. Some people think that the key to solving this issue is to have more sports and exercise in school. So जो यहाँ लिखा है कि भाई स्कूल करिकुलम में कोई भी फिजिकल एजुकेशन. व्हाट इज फिजिकल एजुकेशन? पैराफ्रेजिंग, तुम अपने शब्दों में या इन अदर वर्ड्स हाउ कैन यू से फिजिकल एजुकेशन? दैट स्पोर्ट्स एंड एक्सरसाइज एंड all of those things, going to gym or doing a ballet, doing a dance, that's physical. So I paraphrased it. मैंने अपने शब्दों में ये पूरा का पूरा क्वेश्चन एक्सप्लेन किया. राइट, you were able to understand that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after that, I come behind it with my statement, my opinion about this, what I'll be presenting in these body paragraphs. Okay. So I wrote 2 body paragraphs. You can write 3 or 2 or 3, but don't go for more than those 2 or 3 paragraphs. The thing about partially agree and partially disagree will be, you will have to prove that point, and which will be really confusing for someone who's doing new IELTS. Okay, so when you do completely agree or completely disagree, you always present the point which support your statement about that. Yes, मैं पूरा का पूरा agree ही कर रहा हूँ, so सिर्फ I will have to write about agreeing. But if I partially agree, what would happen is I will have to come up with two disagree points and one partially agreement point. And then in conclusion, मुझे ये भी समझाना पड़ेगा that based on the information provided above, I am able to prove my point about partially agreeing to this system. Whatever the question may be, कोई भी question हो, if you partially agree or partially disagree, that means कि भाई तुम्हें उसका एक point और दो point for the other thing. So that will complex your task. मतलब if you think you want to do it, then it's good. हाँ, yes Himanshi, it's always better to completely, मतलब वो गलत नहीं है. I don't suggest that you never do the partially agree, but if you think you can come up with the content which supports your statement or opinion, then go for the bold move. Okay, which will be bold, but you will get your marks again if you completely agree or disagree, the same thing. You will still get the same marks, and if you partially agree or disagree, still the same thing. Okay, so this is like the most significant thing. Okay, somebody commented something. Just a second. No, Imanshi, I don't think that. But yes, it will reflect that your decision is poor only if you say that I partially agree, and if you cannot prove in these paragraphs that how you partially agreed, because that will be the difficult task. Yes, so what extent, मतलब कितनी हद तक तुम सोच रहे हो कि भाई ये सही बात है या गलत बात है. So when you say मैं पूरी की पूरी that I completely agree, that means I मैं पूरा का पूरा agree कर रहा हूँ, right? If I say मैं पूरा का पूरा disagree कर रहा हूँ, but when you say I partially agree, तुम if you translate that into हिंदी means कि मैं भाई थोड़ा मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि थोड़ी ये सच्ची बात भी है, पर ज्यादातर ये बात गलत है. If I say I partially disagree, that then I'm saying that थोड़ी ये बात गलत भी है, पर ज्यादा point इसमें सच है. Okay, so that's the Hindi translation when you say I partially agree, and that will just make it difficult. Am I clear, Rajinder? Okay, yes, that's what I'm saying, 70-30, but it will be really difficult. मतलब यहाँ पे अगर if you are, that's what I'm saying, तुम कर सकते हो if you feel that you can prove your points about that, then you can do it, but it will be difficult. क्योंकि इधर पे जैसे मैंने सिर्फ 2 पैराग्राफ में पूरा ऐसे लिख दिया कि क्योंकि I'm completely agreed, then there will be a complete agree partially agree का एक पैराग्राफ और फिर disagreement के 2 पैराग्राफ और a big paragraph. If you are able to prove that you partially agree, you will still get bans. Even
Sir,
if you are,
I would like to raise, sorry, sir, I'm interrupting in between, but I'd like to raise
No.
an objection on that because I think you only told that this is an opinion based essay, which means either you have to agree or you have to disagree to a statement. That means partially agreeing or disagreeing doesn't, I don't hangs in somewhere position. I don't think so. Sorry
No,
if
no,
I am
actually
saying
you
something
can,
wrong, but I don't
no.
think like it's
So
going to
this
lead
stands
you
for,
to the good bands.
No, that's not the thing. To what extent do you agree when they ask you this opinion-based essay? That would be something else. But what I'm saying over here is, they will ask your opinion. What is your statement? इसके ऊपर से ये पता चलेगा कि ये दोनों पैराग्राफ में तुम एक्सपेक्ट क्या करोगे कि भाई जो लिखने वाला है, the writer, what is their opinion in this one. So इसमें you have 4 chances: completely agree, completely disagree, partially agree, partially disagree. The last two, partially agreeing and disagreeing, will make it complex. 70-30 का ratio होगा. You will have to come up with a point which partially agrees or disagrees, and the other point will be opposite of that. So वो रहेगा तुम्हारा opinion. So if you are asked about your opinion over here, that will be a whole different type of question, जो कि next lectures में I'll present it. But yeah, in your statement, in my opinion, or in my statement, यहाँ पे the whatever you choose to go with, you will have to support it. This is not opinion based essay. हाँ, yeah, opinion से मेरा मतलब वही था कि भाई you have to write a statement about what's going on. ये जो bold है, right? So that's what I meant by opinion. ये जो पार्ट है ये opinion based ऐसे नहीं है, ये disagree या agree ऐसे है. So इसमें four types of thing है, right? Is it clear at some extent?
Shall I summarize it once?
Yeah, go for it.
So basically, up to what extent का मतलब होता है किस हद तक आपको ऐसा लगता है. वो हद 70-30 हो सकती है, उसमें कोई गलती नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट लिखा है तो आपको 100% ही अग्री करना है या 100% ही डिसएग्री करना है. एज रुशिरा सेड, वी हैव four types of answers to these questions: 100% agree, 100% disagree, and then that 70-30 वाला ऑप्शन. तो इसमें ऐसा जो हिमांशी इज सेइंग कि वी विल बी लेफ्ट हैंगिंग इन बिटवीन, नो, इट्स जस्ट दैट अगर आप 70-30 कर रहे हो तो आपको एक एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट डालना पड़ेगा और अब खुद भी आप अपने ऐसे कोई कॉम्प्लेक्स बना रहे हो. इफ यू आर एबल टू प्रूव योर पॉइंट, अगर आपने अपना वो 30% वाला पॉइंट को अच्छे से प्रूव किया है, आपने अपनी करेक्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन लिखी है, तो कोई चांस नहीं है कि आपकी बैंड विल गेट रिड्यूस्ड या कुछ ऐसा होने वाला है. अगर आप अपने पॉइंट को एक्सप्लेन कर पा रहे हो, इफ यू यूजिंग द करेक्ट वर्ड्स, करेक्ट इंग्लिश, करेक्ट वोकैबुलरी, then it is not going to affect your band score for sure. So it's just that you're making it a complex task, but then with practice, मेरे से अगर कोई पूछे तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि 70-30 लिखना भी कोई कॉम्प्लेक्स टास्क है. वो भी लिखना इजी ही होता है. विद प्रैक्टिस यू कैन इजीली लर्न दैट. तो जो बस दैट्स इट अभी के लिए इतना ही.
Yep. So shall I move forward? मतलब ये जो दो पैराग्राफ है, what I did in that, and I think we'll be able to give you a tiny idea about how the task 2 works. Okay, so जब मैंने यहाँ पे statement में दिया है that I completely agree, so what are my duties right now? Okay, the first thing will be there cannot be a point which proves that I do not agree. Okay, कहीं पे भी you cannot, after saying this that I completely agree, throughout your essay कहीं पे भी आप अगर ऐसा पॉइंट लिखेंगे कि that shows or reads into something which does not agree with your statement or with the question. For in our case, अगर if I'm saying कि मैं completely agree करता हूँ एक्सरसाइज की साथ, और अगर साथ में मैं ये भी लिख दूँ कि भाई स्टूडेंट जो है पूरे दिन 7 या 8 सब्जेक्ट पढ़ते हैं, and even after studying so much, if they have to go to ground, that will be tiresome, but that will be beneficial. So what did you do? You actually partially disagreed. Okay, so that would be incoherent, और वो लोग they will try to cut your marks for 25% of your marks for that. So if you say agree, तो फिर agree ही है, कुछ भी हो जाए, मतलब कितने भी 15 सब्जेक्ट भी पढ़ लिए तो you still have to go to the ground and exercise. So उसके आसपास your points have to revolve. So what I did is, my first advice will be you all develop a structure, right? कोई भी ऐसे है, as I said, IELTS is about how you use your English, not if you know English or not. So this is like my personal pattern. अगर कुछ भी मैं कभी भी ऐसे लिख रहा हूँ, so there will always be this cohesive device to embark. You can see it over here, and I think you will be able to see this over here too in task 1. If I'm writing it, there will always be to embark. To embark means to begin with, मतलब शुरू करने के लिए. So that's to embark. So you don't have to use the exact thing, but yeah, do have a list of cohesive devices which will help you through it, right? So make a list which sorts the whole thing: to embark, secondly, thirdly, in connection, in addition. So you make a structure out of that, and that will help you in between those structure, to embark, or in between the next uh, cohesive device, you have to write your content which proves your statement, your opinion कि भैया completely disagreed, completely agreed, तो फिर agree का सारा content आएगा. In this case we are saying dealing with the issue surrounding obesity and weight problem is best solved by taking a long approach and introducing more sports and exercise in the schools. Okay, this method will ensure that next generation will be healthier and will not have such health problems. So मैंने क्या किया? So how do you write your body paragraphs? So that's the thing. Okay, so you write your body paragraph with one or two ideas. So what's my first idea over here? कि भाई the approach introduce sports or exercise अगर हम introduce करते हैं, so that's my idea, the first point, कि अगर sports or exercise, if we introduce that in school curriculum, so वो अच्छा रहेगा. To support this idea there will be a statement which will support it. See, so this method will ensure that the next generation will be healthier and will not have such health problems. At the moment, the average child in the West does sports possibly twice a week, which is not enough to uh, counteract their otherwise sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary मतलब कि भाई जो भी बुरी या अच्छी खासी आदत है. Okay, so that's how I supported my idea with a statement. So दोनों के दोनों paragraph में, that's the thing you have to do. One or two ideas, if you have two or more than two ideas, and if you can like give a brief जो कि 250 or 280 words के अंदर, if you are able to explain that, so that will be your task in one paragraph one and paragraph two again. समझे? Is that thing clear? You how do you attempt your content in the paragraph one and paragraph two? If you are saying completely agree, come up with one two ideas with completely agree and support it with a statement. मतलब explain that idea in detail.
Rishraj, I am sorry to disturb you, but we are getting a notification that this meeting is going to end. So
Yes, you can give an example also, Rajinder. So no, the thing is about this essay कि भाई body paragraph में there is nothing much I can tell you except how to attempt it. क्योंकि task 2 में everything will be by you. You can add an example to support your idea. You can add a statement. You can give an instance. So yes, as Rajinder said, that giving an example will support your idea more and more. Yep, we'll keep it till this only, because after your body paragraph, what will happen is the last thing will be your conclusion or overview. What I will do is I will be uploading this sheet, because I was trying to cover all of this, but I will upload this sheet in Google Classroom, and you can take a look. And if you remember or made notes about what I said, you can attempt to write your own agree or disagree essay, which is over here. Okay, there's a whole new question, you can try to attempt it. Yep, yeah, Bimanshi, we'll be ending it right now because we only have 5 minutes left and it's already really late. 13 minutes.